Okay, let's dive straight in. We're looking at the sad news about Jeff Sperbeck passing away. He died this past Wednesday.
Yeah, age 62, a really prominent figure, NFL agent, business advisor, a
Yeah.
big loss.
Definitely. And what makes this particularly news-grabbing really are the circumstances.
Right. The reports say it followed a golf cart accident.
Exactly. Happened Saturday, the 26th of April, down at the Madison Club that's in La Quinta, California.
And the connection to John Elway is central here, isn't it?
It really is. Reports indicate Elway, the Hall of Fame quarterback, was driving the golf cart when Sperbeck fell out.
Wow. And these two weren't just acquaintances.
Not at all. Friends for decades. Elway was Sperbeck's client starting way back in 1990, but also his agent, business partner, and clearly a very close friend.
So that's our focus for this deep dive, right? Untangle the facts, look at the investigation.
And understand the significance of that long relationship. We're pulling from news reports, TMZ, KESQ, others plus official statements.
Okay. So the incident itself, the Madison Club in La Quinta. What else do we know about the where and when?
It was Saturday evening. Reports say around 7 p.m. Pacific time. Happened on Humble Boulevard, somewhere in the 53,000 block.
And there was some talk about Stagecoach.
Yeah, some initial reports suggested they might have been coming from the festival or maybe an after-party nearby. Still a bit unclear on that detail.
In the actual fall, there were some conflicting details early on.
There were, like, did he fall from the back or the passenger seat? That wasn't immediately clear.
Okay.
And also, who else was there? First reports mentioned wives, but later that seemed to be corrected to Elway's son, Jack, being present.
Right, which just shows how these things unfold in the beginning. Information trickled out, sometimes needs correcting.
Precisely. But what seems consistent is that Elway apparently made the 911 call right away.
Okay, so immediate action taken. An eyewitness mentioned seeing him on the phone.
Yeah, a reporter from KESQ, Ali Simon, confirmed seeing Elway on the phone at the scene. CL Fire and paramedics responded.
CL Fire being the state's fire and emergency response.
Correct. They found Sperbeck unconscious, breathing, but clearly with serious injuries. He was taken to Desert Regional Medical Center in Palm Springs.
And reports said he was on life support there.
That's what was reported. Critical condition. Then, sadly, he passed away. There's a slight discrepancy on the exact day. Some sources say Wednesday the 30th. The coroner reportedly said Tuesday the 29th.
A tragic outcome, regardless. Let's shift to their relationship. It sounds like it went far beyond just agent-client.
Oh, absolutely. Sperbeck's career was huge, over 30 years. Represented more than 100 NFL figures, co-founded major agencies like Sullivan and Sperbeck, led Octagon's football division, started the O'Neill agency.
A real powerhouse in the sports agent world.
Definitely. But his bond with Elway since 1990 was something else. Deep friendship, deep business ties.
How deep on the business side?
Very. Sperbeck managed Elway's whole off-field empire, pretty much. Restaurants, those car dealerships.
Right, I remember those.
And they co-founded that winery, Seven Cellars, back in 2015. Their public images were, quite linked.
And personally. Beyond business.
Just seems like they were incredibly close. Sperbeck apparently used to travel with Elway on Broncos road trips.
Wow.
And the statement from the Sperbeck family is quite telling. They mentioned grieving with the Elways. That points to a really tight connection between the families.
In Elway's own words.
He released a statement saying he was devastated and heartbroken. Really emphasized the loss of a dear friend.
Okay, let's talk about the investigation. Who's handling it?
That's the Riverside County Sheriff's Office, the RSO.
All right. And what's the status?
Well, here's an interesting point. The Sheriff's Office wasn't actually notified until Monday, April 28th.
Wait, the accident was Saturday night?
Correct. So a 2-day gap before the RSO officially started their investigation. They didn't respond to the initial 911 call.
Any reason given for that delay?
Not in the sources we've seen. It just states they opened the investigation on Monday. It's ongoing now. No official details released about findings.
That delay is curious. It raises questions, doesn't it, about how the initial information was handled.
It does. You wonder if that lag impacts anything. How has the media described the investigation?
Well, TMZ characterized it as purely informational. Another report mentioned no indication of wrongdoing.
But it's crucial to remember, those aren't official statements from the RSO, just media reporting.
And the legal context might be different too, right? A golf cart on private property versus a car on a public road.
Potentially, yes. The legal specifics could vary, but as of now, no reports of charges or lawsuits related to this.
Got it. What about the public statements you mentioned earlier, Elway's and the families?
Elway's statement, as I said, was very focused on the personal loss, honoring Spurbeck's memory and their long friendship. Notably, it didn't mention the accident specifics or his own involvement directly.
Understandable, perhaps, given the circumstances and likely legal advice. And the Spurbeck family.
Theirs expressed immense grief, thanked people for support, and again specifically mentioned grieving alongside the Elways, reinforcing that close bond.
Right. And briefly, what about reactions from the wider community? Peers, colleagues?
Lots of tributes pouring in. People like Harry Baxt, Gary Myers, Zach Stevens, all spoke really highly of Spurbeck's character, his integrity, his impact.
A respected figure?
Very much so. And Joe Favorito pointed out something quite poignant. Spurbeck was involved with the Cochinap Memorial Fund, which raises awareness about distracted driving. A sad irony there.
Wow, yeah. Okay, so wrapping this up, we have this tragic death of a key figure in the sports world.
Right. We have a legendary sports icon, John Elway, directly involved in the incident.
An ongoing investigation by the sheriff's office, but with some key questions still lingering, like that notification delay.
And underneath it all, this incredibly deep 30-plus-year relationship between the two men, friendship, business, family ties.
It's a lot to process. So, thinking about all this, the initial conflicting reports, the investigation delay, the careful public statements, what element stands out most to you or leaves you with the biggest question mark?
That's a good question for you listening, too. What part of this story do you find most compelling or puzzling? It really highlights how even an event that seems straightforward initially can have so many complex layers.
Definitely. And for anyone wanting to follow this, keeping an eye on updates from the Riverside County Sheriff's Office will be key.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that there's often much more beneath the surface, a lot of human impact packed into these news events.